Hello everyone and welcome back to the TSI. I'm the Orcosaurus Death Roads Tournament, which has just been released into early access. It is a roguelike deck building card battler. That's a mouthful. And so far the story is pretty simple. It's about a tournament where you race in with your decked out car and shoot at your opponents. It has guns, it has glory, and it has explosions. All the good stuff that you need. Like I said, story is pretty simple. Still in early access. I don't know if they want to add a campaign or a story mode later on down the line, but I imagine they do. After a short introductory video to the world, which is pretty much seemingly inspired by something like Death Race 2000. I think more so Death Race 2000 than something like Mad Max. The tutorial is pretty simple. It tells you straightforward what you need to do, what you need to know about the game. So it works properly. After that, you can just click on your new run and you go off. You can select one of many drivers and one of many cars. Each driver has 3 special cards. A special card pack that does something for you. For example, your first driver that you have unlocked can either speed up or brake, is one of his cards. The other one is just a simple lane change. And the last one is discarding 2 cards and drawing 2 new ones, which is pretty cool. And pretty useful. I mean, they are all 3 pretty useful, but the most useful one I found is the one where you swap cards. Then the car itself has 2, let's call it resources. Health, obviously, how much damage you can endure before your car just goes up in flames. And another resource called handling, which comes in later, but it's very important. And then it's outfitted with certain parts like an engine, wheels, weapons. I haven't found out if equipment has different rarities. I still have to do that. During gameplay you can also find new parts that then get added to the mix and you can improve your car. And obviously you can unlock new parts too while you play. So those parts will then be later added to the pool of things you can find. And then you hit the road. As you can see in the overworld map, you have various nodes. Every 3 battles, after 3 battles, you get to a node where you can either repair your car or where you can buy new items, which is also great, which is obviously the way to go. Health and store, like in every other roguelike deck builder. In the store and also in the chop shop, the repair shop, you can change your equipment if you gathered new one or bought new one. There is definitely more useful items than others I found out. I think the wrecking ball weapon is very useful, but also a little bit limited because it just goes behind your car and not in front of it or to the sides, and that's general a thing, but we talk later about that a little bit in combat, how the weapons work. And that's basically your overworld map. There are also other drivers that you can duel if you cross paths with them, and at the end is the big prize, the end of the tournament. If you defeat the other drivers, you unlock them and can drive with them yourself. What happens once you're in battle? You're on this overview map where you drive your car essentially. Your weapons go in different various directions, so positioning is key here. For example, you can have weapons that just go one lane full into the front. You can have weapons that go diagonally, you can have weapons that go just behind you or to the sides. So what you want to do is you want to maneuver around and position yourself right, but you can also ram cars. So those are your offensive capabilities. What are your defensive capabilities? That is also a good question. Defense is mostly done by maneuvering and avoiding the enemy. There are also options and cards that you can play that give you various stat boosts, buffs, and armor. So you can look with a right click at the enemy and their setup and what weapons they have. So what you want to do is you want to avoid to get into their line of fire. For example, if the enemy has just oil in the back, you want to stay in front of them so they can't hit you. that is the main strategy. If they have weapons in front, you want to stay in the back mostly, and if they have like front and back weapons, you want to stay at the side. And if that doesn't work, because they also have side weapons, you obviously want to avoid it entirely. Again, maneuvering is key. This is also where the general, I would say, resource handling comes into play. Handling is basically your capacity to play cards. Each card has a different cost in handling, and once your handling is depleted, once you're done playing cards, you skip your turn, or if your handling is depleted and you can't play cards anymore and your car starts to skid. Each driver also comes pre-equipped with a so-called skid deck. The skid deck represents the driver and him or her losing control over the vehicle. That can have funny results. You can drive into opponents because you're skidding up, or you can skid into the wall because you're skidding down on the lane and there's a wall in the way, or you can just change lanes for the better or for the worse. So this is something you have to always keep in mind when playing. It can actually make the difference in winning or losing the battle. Interestingly, you can do this also to the enemy with pretty funny results. So if you have, for example, an oil as a weapon in the back, not the burning one, just a normal one, you can take away handling. If you ram them, you can take away handling. This can have results like they ram into their friends and kill their friends, for example. Great stuff. Very, very versatile as well, because what you can essentially do is you can gear your car basically more towards being more agile on the road and have less guns and weaponry, and then try to use that to your advantage. You can even outrun your opponents. If you don't feel like fighting, you just leave, you know? You don't have to fight if you don't want to. You just need to pull the right cards for that, or just have the right setup. The graphics look good. What I like about the cards especially is once you understand what everything stands for, you can see in one glance what each card does. Perfectly designed card overlay. I love that. Another thing that I really like is the music. Good 80s synthesizer. It's just not a lot at the moment. It's, I think, one track, maybe two. But they already said that during the early access period, they will add more music. I hope they do more of a campaign mode, like add a little bit to the story, to the world, and I hope they add more game modes, because I feel like the moment everything is in place, but like it's with a lot of early access games, it feels a bit barren. You can unlock tons of cars. You do that, by the way, by playing the game. So every time you die, you unlock new cars, because you get XP for each run, and the higher the level, the more cars you get. Cars also have various properties. They do have either more hit points or more handling. So cars with less hit points usually have better handling, and cars with more hit points have usually worse handling. There's armored cars that come out with armor right out of the gate to mitigate a little bit of damage at the start of the encounter and whatnot. So there's that, and like I said, you can unlock new drivers as well. So this is in place, like you have already there a lot of variety, but I hope they add more variety to the game modes and to the campaign. I super recommend this game right now. I really like how the car combat plays, how everything falls into place, and how everything just is at the moment. They just need to add on a little bit like garnish on top of that. You have a solid foundation here, and I would highly suggest checking it out and just giving it a try, because it is really good. The foundations are fantastic. And that has been the Orcosaurus for the TSI. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.